And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I am Michael DeLon. Today, I am talking with Peter Gerges. And Peter, first of all, thank you. Thank you for taking some time to talk with me today.
Of course, my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to be on the show.
Man, it is going to be a great conversation because, well, Peter and I have a lot in common. We just found out, but there are some things we don't have in common. And one is website and design and tech stuff, because I don't understand a lick of it. And Peter is like magical with it. And he helps business owners create, maintain websites that actually convert, like prospects into suspects, into clients and things of that nature. So I definitely want to get into that because, Peter, I know a lot of my audience, we just struggle with websites. We have outdated websites. We don't know what to do with them. And oh my goodness, I don't want to try to build a website. And who do I go to how do I find a good website design guy? So all of those questions are going through our minds all the time, and you might be able to shed some answers on it. So as we dive into the deep end here, tell me, how in the world, Peter, did you start doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Michael. And I love this question because it all started out, in 2010. And at the time, I was looking over a beautiful lake and going down with my fiance at the time. And I was just about to propose to her right in front of this beautiful lake. And just at the right moment, I got down on one knee and I asked her, honey, will you marry me? You're the love of my life. And she foolishly said yes, she agreed. And it was a big win for me and a big loss for her. But nevertheless, it was wonderful and amazing. And as we were walking back from that lake, I turned to my wife and I said, honey, can I ask you, what is your dream for our life together? And she looked at me and she thought and she said, you know what, honey? She says, I know that many moms, like to have a career and like to go to work. But for me, I don't want that. I'd like to be able to have enough financial support to be able to stay at home and to raise my kids. And at that time, that was when it was birthed in me that, hey, I need to be a good enough provider to provide for my family so that I can keep my wife's dream alive so she could stay at home and take care of our kids and raise our kids. And so everything was fine. We had our first daughter 1 year later after we got married, and that was in 2011. That was Bella. And in 2014, I had Andrew. And once Andrew was born, that's when the bills began to pile up and it became astronomical. And, I was on staff at a church and I was like, man, I don't make enough money to be able to pay all these bills. So I began to look into making a business and how can I make some extra money? And all I wanted to do was just to make $3,000 extra a month just to be able to pay the bills and to also have a little bit in savings. And so at the time, I was really good with like productivity and time management. So I created like an online, like a website to sell like, little courses, small courses to sell little time hacks and productivity tips to people. And I began to wake up every single morning at 4 a.m. to go and build that business, build that website. And I went and I launched it. And I was hoping to make the $3,000, but guess how much money I made? $17.45. It was an epic fail. And I was like, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? And I had, of course, got more expenses because of all the different things that I had to do in order to build that website and build that business. And it was an epic fail. So what I found is I found that there was a guru that I found online, and he could you could hire him and he could tell you like, hey, what's wrong with your business? So I paid the money and I hired him, and he took a look at the business and he says, aha, I got it. The problem is that you are very low end selling these small, time hacks. So no, you're not really believable. There's no credibility, as you would say, Michael. Yes. What you have to do is you have to go high end. All right. So instead of selling stuff for like $20, per pop, go $10,000 and be a coach to, CEOs and stuff. And I said, yes, that's it. So I went and I bought a course for $10,000 to teach me how to, sell coaching for other people. And I went and I built it for 3 months. And again, I was hoping just to make that $3,000, but again, it failed. And everybody in my classroom was like making money hand over fist, but not me. I had a big fat goose egg in my bank account, and I was $10,000 more in debt because I went and I bought the course. So I was like, oh my gosh. So at the time, I'm a person of faith, so I started praying. I was like, God, please help me. What's going on? What's wrong with this? And I really did feel like God answered my prayers and showed me that it was because I was doing things that were not my calling, and I was pursuing these things without checking with God first. And so this opportunity came my way where I had a friend of mine who was an owner of a marketing agency that was wildly successful, and he had a lot of clients. And he approached me and said, "Hey, Pete, I know that you're really good at websites. So, I have a lot of work, but I don't want to hire you. How about if you become my white label service partner?" And I was like, "White label service partner? What is that?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, that's basically when you act as if you're a part of our team, but we just pay you as a contractor,